Same with
Okay.
same with the rehair. If you can't remember the last time you had a rehair, you probably need a rehair.
Yeah.
I really need a rehair, even though I was really disappointed because the last rehair.
Did he freeze?
Yeah.
I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so.
You froze. You froze, Dan.
I froze, yeah. It's because I haven't got my hard wire installed yet. I'm still waiting to install the hard wire to the Ethernet, but it won't be long. Anyway, yeah, so I only had 6 months. It looks like I only got 6 months out of this rehair because there's a couple of reasons. The first reason was that I was playing at the session with my friend Shane Mulcrone shortly after I got my bow rehaired, and I picked it up off the table and I accidentally knocked his lemon into his drink with the bow. And so that meant that that spot on the bow, which is like right at the spot I'm always playing on, doesn't really want to take rosin. Like it takes it, but then not long after it's all gone and it's a slick spot. And if
Oh,
I
good point. Rosin.
it's slick, it's totally slick. So anyway, and then the other thing is the humidity changes. So your bow, the hair can stretch and contract in the heat and humidity quite a lot. I was quite surprised to find out that it's like up to a centimeter, which is amazing. But what it does is it breaks down the little scales that hold the rosin, and so that's just the way it is. So I got to get a rehair. But yeah, if you can't remember, definitely get new strings. But I guess you can't play tonight, unfortunately.
No, but okay, couple more things. I know you like the like Eva whatever strings or like
I would recommend
what do
that for
I
you.
I don't know, what do I look for?
Dominant. You want a set of dominant strings.
Okay.
And do you find that your E string sounds harsh or brittle or squealy?
Um like a bit, I guess. I mean, it's not like the nicest thing, but yeah.
Well, in that case, you might want to try a gold one.
Okay.
So this is a very common combination of strings, but it's dominant strings, a set of dominant strings, but instead of the dominant E string, get yourself a Parastro Gold E string.
Okay.
Now, if you're taking your fiddle into Phil Davis to get that done, he'll understand totally because it's a very common combinations of strings. And I would recommend it because putting your strings on your fiddle is not easy to do, but it's really easy to do it wrong.
Okay.
Okay, so I would recommend taking it into him to get done, unless your dad thinks he can do it, which he might be able to do it.
I don't think so. I'm not letting that happen.
Well, then there you go. Okay, so we're going to record this though, Calendar. Don't worry, you'll be able to practice after the fact, all right?
Thank you so much. Have a good session, everybody. Okay. Bye.
You
Thanks.
All right, how's everybody else? Anybody else broke the string or anything? How you doing there, Pearl?
I'm doing okay. I got really sick at the end of last year. I was sick for 4 months.
Oh,
I've been in and out of the ER, and I've been having some bad days and some good days. So it's kind of a mess.
oh my God, that's not a good way to spend the summer.
No, my grandma halfway through the summer was sent into the ER and spent some time in the ICU, but she's okay. She's gone, she's in rehab, and she has a roommate. And I played Happy Birthday for her roommate the other day. And I ended up playing for the entire center because one person heard me, and then all the other people came and they're like, oh, what's going on over there? Their favorite, I think, was Drunken Landlady out of everything.
Great tune. You were playing that?
Yeah, I was playing a bunch of different tunes, and that seemed to be the crowd favorite.
Oh, that's just great. Well, it's a great tune with a great title.
Yeah, they really liked it. Some of them thought it was very funny.
So, and how are you feeling now? Like, is it okay? You feeling okay?
I'm getting better. I managed to kind of force myself to coach for 2 months.
Okay.
I was coaching tennis, and I was out on the court for about 4 hours, maybe 5 hours a day. So I managed to push myself through that, and I've been feeling a lot better since. I haven't been in the hospital. So,
Okay.
and I think, goodness, a month and a half at this point. So we're doing better, and I've just gotten a bit out of practice.
Well, but at least you're still playing Drunken Landlady. That's great.
Yeah.
Ah, good on. Okay, well, it's great to see you. Anybody else have any news? Anything fun and exciting? No? Regular? There was a great concert there last night. Pierre Schreier was in town. And he messaged me and asked me if I would come down. So I went down. It was a house concert. And geez, what a great night. But it was funny because it was a solo concert, like no accompanist, just him. Because he was on his way to Montreal to see his daughter. And he said he had never done a solo show before. And I'm going to tell you, it is not easy. You're sitting there all by yourself. You feel like everybody can hear every little squeak and out of tune notes and everything, because you got nobody to help you, nobody to kind of fill in for you, you know. So it was a little bit of a slow start, but then it started to really go, and it was fun. And I joined him for a couple of sets in the second half, and then his niece Anya, who I play with all the time here in Toronto, she joined him too. Apparently the first time they'd ever played together, so that was really fun. And then the three of us were playing with another guy, guitar player, and a lady was step dancing. So it turned out to be just a great night altogether. But really fun to see Pierre. And for the longest time, me and Pierre had like a mirror image life, except that I didn't ever win the Canadian Grandmaster Fiddle Championship. You know, I never entered the contest. You know what I mean? But his wife, yes, Deborah.
Is Pierre the short little guy?
Yes.
Back? He's played at the Leahy.
Yeah.
I was there when he played. He's amazing.
But actually, you might be talking about Louis, because Pierre is a part of a set of triplets.
I think.
Yes.
A little guy, but a very good fiddler.
They're all little. But there's Pierre, there's Louis, and there's Raymond, and they all look like hobbits, basically.
Oh, Louis. It was Louis.
Awesome. The remarkable thing about those guys is that all three of them have won the Canadian Grandmasters at one point or another. A couple of them won a couple of times. And Raymond makes violins, and he won the Cremona Award, which is Stradivarius's award. He was the best violin maker in the world there a few years back. So quite a family. Very, very interesting. But Pierre's wife was the principal trumpet for the Thunder Bay Symphony for years. And he has a boy and a girl. So it was like, we're both fiddle players. We both had classical brass playing wives and a boy and a girl. And it was just kind of funny. We used to make jokes about helping each other through classical music parties, you know, figuring out what to say and, you know, how to behave around these people, you know.
Did Louis tell you the story about the time his wife's trumpet was stolen?
No?
Okay, it's a good one. So I think it might have been stolen out of the trunk of her car, and it was a drug dealer who realized, okay, you can get some money for instruments. And it was, I guess, one of the mules out in the town. I think it was up north. Anyway, the guy stole the trumpet, brought it to the central, bigger drug dealer, and the guy opened it up, and he saw that his wife played for the symphony, and I think he thought, oh, you know what? She really needs this instrument. So he called the number, and Pierre, right?
Pierre.
He went and picked up the trumpet from this drug dealer. Is that the weirdest thing ever? Yeah, and he got it back, like no money, nothing, like just got the instrument back.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
I know. Pierre could even go.
That the drug dealer or whatever it sounds like he was a smart guy, because I know Mary's trumpet and it's very rare. And same with my wife's tuba. Like the maker only a couple hundred. So, and the same, interestingly, Anya, who is Pierre's niece, has a fiddle, a Raymond Schreier fiddle, and she lost it down the States. And it was a big thing on Facebook. Everybody's like, oh my God, it got stolen out of the car. This is terrible. It's an award-winning fiddle. And it turned up. The guy tried to sell it to a pawn shop, and the guy looked at the label. It said Raymond Schreier. Of course, he knows who he was. He knew he couldn't have been this guy's violin, and she got it back. Because it's hard to sell these things. You can't just go and sell one of these things because people recognize it, right?
Yeah.
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 Anyway, yeah, amazing. So there you go. Yes, Pearl.
Oh, I just remembered, I don't know if this is any interest, but I'm starting a fiddle group at my school.
Oh,
So I managed to get like an A-OK for that from my teacher.
great. That's excellent.
And I don't have the same strings teacher. I have a man who plays the trumpet teaching strings. But he likes us. He likes us because we actually listen to him. The band people don't. We do.
Great. No, that's it. Congratulations. Keep up that good work. That's awesome. Okay, speaking of work, we better get to work. So why don't we get warmed up? So we learned Homeward Bound, we learned, the Spay and Spate last week. And I'd like to learn another tune this week, if we can. It's in the same key, and it's called Homeward Bound. It's a wicked tune that Sandy McIntyre used to play all the time, Scottish tune. Yes.
Don't we play that on the Wednesday night?
We did learn it on the Wednesday night, yes.
Okay.
But not everybody here is in the Wednesday night.
Yeah. No, I thought I knew it, but I don't know how to play it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll work on it. It's not that hard of a tune, but it reminds me, because I was looking at the Spay and Spate because I remember we learned it, and in my mind I kept putting it with the Homeward Bound, and it's making a nice set in my mind, and it's good practice in that key. So, but anyway, first of all, let's practice our scales and arpeggios, and why don't we start with D, since we're working on a tune in the key of D. So we'll start with the D major scale and arpeggio, and we're going to do we'll work out. We'll do some exercises in the key of D, okay? Now I got to tune up because Anya used my fiddle last night to play with Pierre, and they played their A strings together, and it wasn't even close to A, and so she tuned my fiddle way, way up, and then afterwards I was like, so sorry, Anya, and she was like, no, it was my uncle. His fiddle is totally sharp. Okay. Okay, D major scale, starting on D. Here we go. Ready, go. Mine was awesome. I had one note that was a little bit low, but I brought it in. Let's try the arpeggio. Sorry?
Are we going to A?
Going to A, yeah. Up to the high A, down to the low A.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll start the arpeggio on the A too. Okay, ready, go. Let's do that again right away because mine wasn't perfect. Ready, go. don't know about you, but I hope that went a little better. Now, let's pick up the pace, okay? We're going to do scale followed by arpeggio, but we're going to go a little bit quicker. Yes, Deb?
So why does the D arpeggio start on A and end on A? Like goes from A to A.
It doesn't have to. I mean, the problem with D is that we can't play all the way down to a D, right? Because our fiddle stops at G. So we just usually kind of start and stop at an arpeggio note. Now, in my experience, starting the scale on the arpeggio note is kind of hard. This is what it sounds like. See that? See what I mean? It's kind of the reference to the ear gets a little muddled when you do that. So that's why they usually get you to start on the D, but then practice going all the way down to A. With the arpeggio, it's a little easier on the ear. Okay, that's a good question though. And D is not the only one you got to do that with. There's also E, F, that you can only do kind of half, on the fiddle. So you got to do something like that. Okay, one more time, picking up the pace a tiny bit. Starting on the D. So it's going to be kind of like, just pay attention to how it comes down. Ready, 2, 3, go. How's everybody feeling about that go? Would you give yourself an 80%? No? Pearl's like, yeah. Who would give themselves an 80% besides Pearl? You, and good. And Sue Leader too. Okay, good. Not bad, not bad. Let's do it again right away. See if we can improve. If you didn't feel good about it, try to anticipate what you need to do to get it all the way up there. Whether it's more finger pressure.
It's the arpeggio I'm having trouble with. I'm not used to the A. I mean the D arpeggio. So the notes are fine. It's the arpeggio I'm getting wrong.
Okay, and so it's DFA for the
DFA.
key. DFA, yeah. So we start on the low A, so it's going to be A, DFA, DFA.
DFA.
Yeah, watch. A, D, F, A, D, F, A.
A. Yeah. Okay, I got it.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Let's do it. One more time, same tempo. Ready, 2, 3, go. Getting there. Let's try the arpeggio one more time. Never hurts. Okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Better? Good. The arpeggio is even more important than the scale for strengthening your intonation. Because with the scale, you always have the previous note to judge from, right? And it's not that far to judge, just one half step or a whole step. Whereas with the arpeggio, you're judging these distances, which are way better for your ear. But you can't really do it until you get the scale kind of really nicely in tune in your ear, okay? Let's do one more fast scale and arpeggio, and then we'll move on. 1, 2, 3, go. feeling? Feeling okay? E&D? Oh, I hear a dustbuster. Sylvie's in her room there doing crafts. That's what she does while I'm teaching. But I hear a dustbuster, which means glitter was involved. And it's okay. It's all right. Another little glitter never hurt anybody. Okay, so let's work on our tune we learned last time there, which is the Spade and Spade, great tune. All the kids' after school activities are kicking in hard, and me and Jennifer had a business meeting this evening about babysitters and timing and the schedule. God, real life is suddenly slammed in, you know what I mean? The pandemic made things kind of easier. Okay, Spade and Spade. Let's go slow. We don't have to be in a hurry. We just learned it, so we'll go nice and easy. We'll go kind of like this. Is that going to work out? Looks pretty good. Okay, I'll count you in. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. check in. Now, I realize that one of the reasons that we're learning this tune is that it's so good for practicing your string crossings. So I wouldn't mind doing a bit of that before we keep going with it so that we can have a hope of getting it faster. So I want to do a couple of, first of all, I'll check in. How's everybody doing with the spay and spade? Is there anything that you're not getting or you can't understand? Or Pearl, it's brand new for you. So is there anything kind of systemic or is it just getting used to it?
I think it's a little getting used to it. I lost track of how many times we repeated one thing. So I thought it was the end, and then I realized, oh, we're starting again. And I had to figure out where we were. So I think you might have seen me pause, and I was like, where are we? But I don't know the piece well enough to figure out what bar was what.
Well, there's also the danger that I might have repeated something too many times or whatever. I do a lot of this, and so, you know.
Oh, I did. I found the bar we were. It helped with the strings crossing. It's like, oh,
yeah. String crossing. How about anybody else? Anything there getting in your way, like that you want to understand better or something that I can help with before we work on the string crossing aspect?
I don't even know how you sort this out, but when I have two endings, I get mixed up on the second ending sometimes. Like all of a sudden I'm still playing the first ending instead of going to the second ending. I do that a lot. And I kind of don't know how to, I guess it's just getting to know the song better, so you just play it in your head. But
you know what it is though? I mean, like I'm a person that knows a lot of tunes, and the only way that I have a hope of keeping endings straight or repeated bits or any number of things is to find one distinguishing characteristic, one thing that you can hang on to. And so if you look at these two endings, they're almost identical, right? Except the last three notes. And the funny thing is that the first ending, the last three notes is ABC, and the second ending, the last three notes is ABC. It's just up the octave. See that? So basically, in this tune, if it was me, I would be hanging on to the fact that the low one is what helps you get to the D that starts the part again. See that? And then the second one goes high because the second part starts high. See what I mean? And you know, one thing to remember is a lot of tunes, like, I don't know, probably the majority of tunes, the first part is low and the second part is high. Have you ever noticed that? It's very, very often the case. So that's the way that I would remember those two endings. And luckily, like I said, the first 5 notes of each ending are the same. So you have that much time to figure out which one you're doing.
but it's just enough time to get you mixed up too, because you realize they're the same, but then all of a sudden the rest of it's gone and you're still back.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. The other thing you can do is just take those few notes off, because it's much more important to have a strong start to the B part, or say to the A part when you, and then you'll find that those notes will fill in. See what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what happens. I have to jump into the second part because I missed part of the ending.
Do that, but just try to make mental note, like of the high D or the low D, so that you can have a hope of remembering which way to go. But it's a problem for everybody, Deb. But believe me, everybody I know, like, you grab onto one thing that'll help you keep them straight. Okay? Anybody else have any questions like that? That was a very good question. No? Okay, string changing exercises. Do you remember the bow push-ups? Yeah. Now, we're going to do them on the bow, on the strings. This is called silent string crossing. You're going to put your bow in the middle of the bow on the strings, and here I'm on the G string. See that? And now I'm going to do the bottom part of the bow push-up, get all the way over to the E string without dragging it. And that's why it's silent. See that? Yeah, that's good. Everybody's looking good. Minimal amount of arm. Now, if you look at me, watch my right arm. Minimal arm. Mostly wrist and fingers. And you can see for the E string, I do a deep dive. I even take my pinky off to get all the way over to the E without using my arm. See that? And then this is the upward part. See how my arm is straight, my hand is straight, all the way up to my fingertips. See that? So silent string crossing. I'll do a little bit of that. Hopefully you're not making too much noise. It looks good. Everybody looks really good. There's a little bit of arm, but you can just keep working on it until it gets refined. Okay? Now, let's try down on the G, up on the A. Watch this. No sound on the D. Now, everybody try that. Down on the G, up on the A. I have to re-rosin my bow yet again. Now, this is what really gets you good at hopping over a string without making a sound on it, so that you can say, do these big arpeggios really nice and cleanly right across the whole fiddle. Okay, now, once you do a bit of that, let's try down on the D, up on the E. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like. Now look at that, everybody's looking so good. And it's interesting, I've taught this a lot and I've noticed what the natural progression, but at first everybody was going, and by the time we were done, it looked like this. So much better, much better. Now let's do this. Let's do 4 G and A combos and then switch and do 4 D and E combos and then switch again. Okay, let's try doing that. Starting on the G, down on the G, up on the A. 1, 2, 3, go. D. G. D. One more, G. D. Yep, that's good. Everybody's doing it right. I know it's tough, but you're doing it. It requires kind of paying attention, eh? Because the right arm is really hard to work on with the violin because you can't really see it, Now that's where the Zoom screen helps, because everybody's looking at themselves doing this, and it really, really helps. When I was a kid, I had the mirror. My brother's closet doors were mirrored, and that's where we practiced all the time. And I remember looking into that mirror all the time to see what the arm is doing. Because when you're looking down from where you're playing, this is all you see. And it looks pretty well the same as that. See that? Really hard to tell. But from this angle, easy to tell. See that? So that's where the Zoom screen really helps. A mirror is good. It's excellent, but it gives you a mirror image. And with the Zoom screen, or my wife's trick, she uses this trick because she can't see her right hand, which is the fingering hand on the tuba, because the tuba is in front of it, right? So she can't see that at all. And with the mirror, it caused a problem because it was a mirror image. So she put the iPad on a music stand on selfie mode, and then she could see the fingers while she was playing, and anytime she wants, she could just hit that record button and look at it afterwards. See what I mean? So, very valuable. Now, let's do another string crossing. Oh, nice dog, Dib. We're getting our cat soon, Oreo. We're getting him this week, actually.
My dog is singing while we're playing,
Oh.
howling.
Okay, so now, let's do one more string crossing exercise, which is basically this here. Now, watch me do it, because you got to do it right to make any difference. See that? A little tiny A and a little tiny E using just my hand. Just this circular scooping motion of the hand. Okay, the A string is a spread and the E string is a scoop up. See that? A, spread is spread and scoop, spread and scoop. So let's do that together. Okay, everybody do that. We're going to do it, I don't know, probably about 300 times. One, two, three, go. Okay, pretty good. I see a little bit of the arm happening, but it's not going to happen overnight. You really do have to pay attention and train it. Let's do D to the A. Ready, 2, 3, go. Yeah, that's looking better. Okay, that's looking better. And it makes sense because the D and A share the same plane of motion with the arm. The E is an up and down motion. The G is also kind of up in the air, but the D and the A are the same. So it just requires the tiniest little bit of the tiller. How's everybody getting along with that? Is that going okay? Is it clean?
So the linear movement, like the linear movement of the bow is almost nothing. Is that right? In
Yeah.
that?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Look at how much bow I'm using.
You're using a ton more than I am.
Yeah, and you want to use as much as you can without using your arm. That's the challenge. Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions like that about what we're doing here? No, it's all going good. Okay, now the hard one, G and D. Now that is hard, isn't it? Because there's two challenges. First of all, the G goes up in the air like dabbing. You know how the kids do dabbing now? It's like a dance or whatever. So you dab for the G. There you go. Pearl just dabbed. And then for the D, it's the straight. So it's very challenging, right? It's a big change. But also, did anybody notice the G string pushing back on you? When you hit it, right, with that momentary hit, it pushes back. And it can cause your bow to bounce on the D string. See that? Because it's so big and heavy. The G string is very big and heavy and also very loose. So it was like my tree house and when I made when I was a kid. When you step into it, the floorboards would sink down like that. And then when you get out of it, they'd come back up. So the G string does too. So you got to kind of just let it, okay? And use the momentum of it to help you to get over to the D string. All right, it's like dribbling a basketball. And it can give you the perfect touch on the D. See that? That was just me letting the bow bounce over to that D. It's perfect, but I'm used to it. But anyway, let's go slow and do it again. Ready, go. Everybody's looking better and better, and we only tried it a little bit, all right? So a little bit of this work goes a long way, especially for adults. So a little bit of mindful string changing or whatever is going to really, really help. Okay, so keep doing that. Now, let's go back to our tune. It's going to be a lot easier now, believe me. Who did we just lose? We lost somebody. Who was it?
Karen, I think. Karen, I think.
Oh yeah, Karen. She left. Too much technique. It's boring. Okay. Spade and spade. So we're going to try it like a good 4 times. And we're going to start easy, and I'm going to push the tempo as we go along. Okay? So a good 4 times with spade and spade. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Karen in. 1 second. There we go. Okay, let's try again. Everybody's looking great. They're looking like they're using a lot less arm, which is going to be really good. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So, Deb, what's the first thing that happens when we're going like that?
It was way too fast for me. I couldn't concentrate on the notes. It was going way too fast. So
Okay.
I practiced, but obviously not enough. So it's just the pace is just a bit too much for me. So I guess I have to keep practicing.
Well, but you see, I'm more interested in what, like when you go fast and it's a bit too much, that's what shows you where it's kind of too much. So what would be the first place that you kind of trip up when we're going that tempo?
At the beginning.
Just the very beginning?
Well, yeah, because it gets away from me. So then I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. And by the time I figure out where I'm at, you're already gone to the next part. So
It's away-
I keep trying to at least play some notes, and the
Well,
dogs were fighting at my feet. So I was
noticed that you were having some
well, I was trying to concentrate and the dogs are at my feet fighting. So but yeah, I just find that the notes really fly by. And I think it's at this time of night, I'm tired. Like I just can't think quick.
Okay. Well, I don't think. I try not to anyway. It's way too tiring for me. But one thing that might help, I mean, I don't know if it will help, but the whole opening bar there is a big D major arpeggio. You might be able to let your hand do it because your hand can do it. We've practiced it, and you'd be surprised. Sometimes when you let your hand do something like that, the rest kind of comes. All right. But we'll slow down. I only went that fast to see what showed up for people,
No, but if I'm the only one, then you shouldn't slow it up. Because
Well, I mean, it's always good to slow it up. Always a good idea for everybody. But your approach when we were going fast of playing what you could play is very, very good.
yeah, that's all I could do. And I was catching on to some phrases, and at least I was getting my bow to go where it was supposed to go. But
That's really good.
I'm better if I work my way into it.
Yeah. So we'll back up a little bit. How about other people? How did you get along? How about you there, Ann? How did you get along?
I found it very fast also, but what was even more challenging is that occasionally you would glitch out for a split second and then it would go even faster to catch up. So it was very challenging, but really lots of fun.
Okay, well, we can back it up a little bit. No problem. That's fine. And I'm sorry about the glitching, but I'll get my hardwire installed soon. How about you, Elizabeth?
For me, I just got to memorize it. It's the reading, like I read well, but it's going way too fast for reading. Like it's just, I'm sure that if I memorize it, it'll go way better.
Have you tried not reading it?
No, I'm terrified of not reading it.
So what I did this week was I recorded myself playing it and then taught it to myself without the music. I couldn't play it that fast from memory, but with the music, I could sort of almost keep up because I knew it sort of from memory. Because I practiced it without the music.
Absolutely. And you can go like my slow version on the YouTube. That's what that is for, right? You back it up, you try to get the phrases. But I'm working with a bunch of people who are trying to get away from the music because of exactly Elizabeth's situation there. Like, because they're trying to play above a certain level and the music is actually holding them back because of this strange phenomena that I've noticed with adult learners. That's what I call you guys. Except maybe Pearl, who's not almost an adult. But anyway, is that when you're reading stuff, like I have this one lady, Elaine, and she managed to defeat the whole tied to the music thing with a lot of tunes. And we're working on the Cape Breton wedding reels right now. And so she had this thing, and I've seen it so much, but for her it's chronic, where she's playing along and she neglects to read a phrase, but her hand plays it anyway. But because she didn't read it, she kind of stops and goes back. And you know what I mean? It's such a strange, and she's not alone. I've seen it so much. It's like your hand might do it and you're good to go, but because you haven't read it, it's like, oh, so you actually kind of go and pick that up again. See what I mean?
So is it better than to learn by phrases as opposed to, so we've got your music, we play along, but would it not be better to play by phrase several times, and then wouldn't that stick better than just playing the song over and over?
Well, you don't want to get too bound up in the phrases, but the traditional way of doing it is phrase by phrase, just like we usually learn it. But then it's to try to play without the music, so like to try to play in that way. But we have to use the music for reference. I mean, for most people anyway. Like I try to encourage people to do it completely by ear, but there's only a few people. I've taught 1,000 people in 20 years, and there's only been a few that actually do it. Everybody's so nervous about it. You know what I mean? But definitely. Learning by the phrases, just like we learned it. Now, this one is a little more difficult because it doesn't do that first phrase, second phrase, first phrase again thing very much, you know? So that's why it's a little bit challenging, but there's no question, it's far better to learn a tune by ear. When you learn it by the music, it's fine. It does a good job, but then you need the music. And even for me, there's a couple of tunes I learned for a band because I joined the band. And they were like, the last fiddle player did these 2 French tunes, and they handed me the music. And there was a show that night. So I read the 2 French tunes, but then every gig after that, I'd have to bring that bloody music, you know? So I did it for a couple of more gigs. So then I did exactly what Anne said there. I recorded myself reading it, and then I put the music away and just kind of hammered away until it was in there. See what I mean? So doing it with the music is fine, but you need thousands and thousands of times before it finally starts to get in there, right? Whereas when you learn it by ear, it's pretty well there forever, whether you want it or because your hand learns it, right? So that's the point where we got to get with this tune. Now, how about this? How about we give it a try? How about we slow way down? And here's what I suggest. We're going to go slow. We're going to play the whole thing, and then all you guys are going to look at something else, okay? And see how far you get. Now, if it's disastrous, then just do what Deb did there, which is what I did for 10 years at Torquillo. Play what you can play and wait for it to come along. Okay, so let's give them, and then so we're going to do it twice. The first time with the music. The second time, you're going to try really hard to look away, okay? Just try to glance away. See how far you get. And we'll slow it in. We'll kind of go like this. 1, 2, 3. people do. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Andrew,
agree.
okay. How about tell me your experience? What happened?
Yeah, part of the problem, I'm pretty tired at this time of the night. So then, even sometimes, well, maybe it'd be better, but I kind of lost track. So I had to get back to the music. I was going to say earlier, I find my problem is getting over to those G string notes and getting them right is what's holding me up. Is it the A or is it the B or is it the C? Do you know what I mean? Like that's my hold up right now. Other than that, I'm fine. Even with the speed, I'm fine as long as I can get to those right notes, right?
Okay, and the notes on the G string are the hard ones because
Yeah, they're the last ones to sort of stick in your head, right?
really. Now, I'm going to boil it down for you again. So, when you're talking about notes on the G string, we only have 3 in this entire tune, right?
I know. And like, it's not even that many. It's just getting to the right one, right?
So, the first time it's the A,
Yeah.
because we're in the key of D and A is in the arpeggio, right? The second time, it's the low B because the guitarist would change chords there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're back to the low A.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that once you don't get it, then you miss that whole next little string, right?
Oh, I know, but this is just offering you a life preserver to remember. And then the C is only in the second part, and there's only one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might help a little bit. Okay, but you're right. You're absolutely right. The ones on the G string can be the hard ones to get. How about anybody else? Who else wants to tell me about their experience? Yes, Pearl.
I haven't like have had the music long enough.
Okay.
It was very chaotic for me. I didn't really know where we were. I think like I'd like to say 50% of the time, but might have been 60.
You weren't here for the learning by ear experience either, so it would be much harder for you for sure.
I did a lot of learning by ear when I started the violin and when I went to the camp with you. But after that, it's been mostly given the music because I'm playing with a big orchestra, so I can't always trust my ears.
Absolutely, absolutely. But it's okay. I trust you'll get there. Anybody else want to tell me about their experience?
I'm with Susan. I get a bit hung up on the G string notes.
On the G string notes.
Yeah. But apart from that, I just have to learn to turn the music away. Just turn it off.
Try. It's hard to pull the Band-Aid off altogether. Adjacent is good. If you can train yourself to not stare at it, then it really does help because you can glance and get back on, right? Because it's kind of hopeless if you just keep stopping. So I hate to tell people like, oh, there are some teachers that are like, no music, but I know you guys are going to use it anyway. You know what I mean? So, and I find it has been useful in that way. If it's glanceable, it's going to make a difference. All right. Anybody else? Ann, you had a good experience. It went well for you.
Yeah, because of the way I practiced it. Because I'll tell you, Dan, until I went to Goderich, I had never learned anything by ear. I had always learned from sheet music.
Wow.
I don't have any tunes memorized as a result. I can't play anything fast because that's just the way I always learned with my teacher. And in the Quebec Reels class with Veronique Plas, she taught us a couple of incredibly challenging pieces strictly by ear. There was never any music shared. And by the end of the week, we were all playing those tunes. And I've been practicing them because I love them and they're in there forever, I feel like. And I can play them, I don't play them well, but I can play them somewhat like reliably. Like I know them really well. Mm-hmm. And I've never, ever seen them written down.
Right.
So I'm totally sold on that method.
Yes, and we'll keep doing it that way. Well, every tune we learn, we'll do it phrase by phrase like that, and we'll try, if you can do it without music, that would be excellent. Okay, so very good. Excellent. How about you, Karen? How did you do? Oh, Karen looks a bit frozen. Yeah, she looks frozen. Okay, well, we'll let her thaw out. Shall we try again? Let's do it again right away. Was the tempo okay, or do you want to go slower? Was okay? Okay.
The tempo was okay for me. I'm trying to get like all the trills and stuff. Is it okay if I leave that out for now while I'm trying to do it by ear and by what I've memorized?
No, I encourage that. Absolutely. It's a good thing to do to play without any ornaments at all. It helps your rhythm. Okay? Go ahead and do that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Any better? A bit? Couple of notes?
I did a couple of phrases. I was looking away. So I was playing when I could, then I'd get in trouble, then I'd have to look again. So I was trying to remember some phrases.
Good, that's good. And I noticed that everybody kind of remembered the hard bits, which is the usual. That's usually what happens. Like the harder bits are what stick in your mind. And that's why, like for instance, the last, have you ever heard of a tune called The Gold Ring? It's a 7-part uilleann pipe jig, Irish jig, 7 parts. And it basically displays all the tricks that the uilleann pipes can do, right? And the hardest part is the second last part. It goes like this. For the pipers, you know? And the part that comes after it is the one that everybody always forgets to play. It's the easiest part, but everybody always forgets to play it because they're concentrating on the hard part. You know what I mean? Hi, Sylvie. How you doing?
I'm bored.
You're bored?
Nothing to do.
Nothing to do.
Join the fiddle class.
Join the fiddle class.
Yeah, it's fun.
You can make fun of me if you want.
She's hiding. How about this? We're going to play this tune one more time. You want to try to do it and practicing your step 2 3s? Because you got class tomorrow? Oh, there's Mom. Mom's home. There you go. What do you got on your face, by the way?
I made a smoothie.
A smoothie. Excellent. Oh, she made a smoothie. Okay, so anyway, so that's that tune. So I want to make this a project, okay? Karen, you were frozen, but I wanted to, I was asking how you did without looking at the music if possible. How was your experience?
Well, I didn't practice enough. That was a short story. And so I had to, when I think it was Deborah was talking about phrase by phrase. And so while she was chatting, I started doing phrase by phrase of the beginning of the tune. That helped. And have you ever heard about those computer errors, ID10T?
That happened?
No, you know what? My computer wasn't plugged in. I thought, how come it keeps crashing? I had the ID10 error, idiot. Anyway, I finally figured it out. I went, that's weird. And then anyway, it's all good. You won't disappear, again. I know you had to keep letting me back in, but.
No problem. Now, I'm going to send all you guys Homeward Bound. Okay, we're going to take a look at it. It's not a hard tune, but it's really, really nice. Just going to write this quick here. So we got Karen and we got Elizabeth. Yeah.
Deb, I have it in the Callum Road set from OCFO.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go for it. You can use that, but I'm just going to send it out anyway. Okay, this is Homeward Bound. By the way, I played at Diana Sherwin's funeral on Saturday, and it was lovely. There was lots of people there, and Simone spoke beautifully, and everybody really liked it. And then they all came to the local afterwards. Where me and the lads were playing, and it was a great afternoon altogether. It was a really good thing to do after that, and so it was a good way to remember her. But thought I'd mention that because I know you guys remember her. Now, anyway, so I just sent you the old Homeward Bound here. It's a wicked tune. Let me play it for you. Okay. Ooh, very small. Very small version. There we go. This is right out of Sandy's book, this version. And it's a wicked tune. Rory McDonald. Oh, I didn't even know who wrote it. Okay, well, let me play this tune for you while you're looking at it. learn. Everybody hearing the repetition in there? Lots of repetition to hold on to, okay? So let's see, let's tear this tune apart. I know some of you guys already learned it, but this is not going to hurt you at all to go through the phrases again. So the phrases are, we're in the key of D, we got that covered already. And the first phrase, we got the low A, and then this big cut on the D. And that's kind of the divining thing about this tune. See that? That's kind of the first lick. And then we do a very similar thing, but on the A. See how that works there? It's a lovely little lick there. So let's try that together, this first phrase. Got a cut on the D and a cut on the A is how you define this first phrase. Let's do it with the A pickup note and do the A on an up bow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's the first phrase. Let's do that a good 3 more times, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time to be sure. We're going to do it again. It comes up again. Ready, go. Okay, that's the first phrase. Everybody getting how that's constructed? Very simple idea, you know? And then, second phrase. Now, I love this lick. So we got F to the A, then to the E, long B. Love that. Okay, and then we got this little, and then this magical lick where you do the same finger pattern on both sets of strings. A, D2, 1, 2, D, G2, 1, 2. See that? Same finger pattern, different set of strings. So let's try that. This is the last bar of the first line. Okay? A, F, E, F, D, B, A, B. Okay, let's try that. Ready, go. Yeah, let's do it again. Ready, go. Okay, now let's back up and let's do the last 2 bars of that line. I'm going to play it for you. See if you can get it by ear. We got the F, A, E. Long B. And then that lick. Let's try that together, okay? Last 2 bars of the first line. A, F, E. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Ready, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. Yeah. Now, interestingly enough, oh, Susan had to go. Good night, Susan. Interestingly enough, the next phrase is exactly the same as the first phrase. And what comes after that is also exactly the same, except for the last 2 notes. See that? That whole thing. So here's the first phrase again. Let's do it together. First phrase. Ready, go. Second phrase. First phrase. Second phrase. repeated thing. Okay, everybody getting the layout of those phrases, how they work there? Okay, yes, Pearl, you look unsure.
It's the fourth bar. It's the fourth bar that's always tripping me up.
This one
I
here?
don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. I've got the other stuff. I've got the other stuff just fine. I even got the one where the beginning parts repeated the.
Yeah, that's really good. Try that first bar or fourth bar for me. Play that fourth bar for me right now.
I'm trying to play it from memory. Hold on.
Mhm. That's it, you did it. Okay, I'm glad you asked. Anybody else having any bits or pieces like that? Okay, let's take the grinder to it. Let's do it a few times. And we'll go nice and slow. 1, 2, 3. Is that going okay? It looks great. Everybody looks terrific. Now, second part. Second part is one of these same lick over and over, same lick over and over parts. Okay? So we got this, which keeps coming back. See that? We got to do that 2 times during the part. And when you repeat, it makes it 3 times. Or sorry, it makes it 4 times. And then we do it again in the middle. Oh yeah, so that's 3 times in the second part. Okay, think of it as a D major arpeggio with an added G. So let's try that. This is the first bar. F, D, F, G, that's the unarpeggio note. And then A, F, D, F. Okay, let's try that together. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Same thing. Ready, go. Okay, last time I swear. This time let's do it with the pickup G. Up bow on the G. Ready, go. Last time with that G. Ready, go. Okay, so now the first time it does that, it does this cut on an E. See that? Let's try that together. Cut on the E, down and up the scale. Okay? Ready, cut. long G at the end. Let's do that again. Ready, go. One more time to be sure. Ready, go. Okay, so now we have this. And then we got to do it again, but different. Okay, we do this again. But then we do this. Okay, let's practice that. This is the fourth bar of the B part. And it goes like this. E, D, E, F. And then a big cut on the D. See that? Yeah, let's do that together. E, D, E, F, D, diggity, D. Ready, go. Let's do it again. Ready, go. One more time. Ready, go. Okay, and then you do the first thing again exactly the same. And then the very end sounds familiar too, doesn't it? See that? We already know that too. So here's how the second part is constructed. We got this here. And then the E. And then again. And then the D. E, ending. And that's how that works. Okay, that looked pretty good, everybody. Let's try playing that a few times. I won't keep you guys much longer. I can see that I'm pushing you. Okay, let's give it a try. We'll play the G pickup note. Oh, 1, 2, 3. E. D. E. Ending. Again. E. D. E. Now you can see the second ending there does that same lick as the last bar of the first line. And that's so that you can start the tune again. You see how that works there? That's why that's there. Okay, very good. Let's try 2 times through that part one more time. High G. Ready, go. Feeling pretty good? Okay, take a quick little breather and we're going to try the whole entire thing. Just going to drink a little bubbly. I've never drank so much water as when they came out with this bubbly stuff. Like, I'm actually drinking as much water as you're supposed to drink now. I think
And
it's
is it just water? It's not
just
like
water,
it's a fizzy water.
fizzy water, and it has a flavor, but there's no sugar, there's no sodium, there's nothing in it except
Okay.
yeah. So I'm loving it. I love bubbly because my dad drank 25 Cokes a day when I was growing up. And then, well, yeah, you're right. It was a lot. So he cut down when he was older to 15. And then he ended up with diabetes and had to cut it out altogether gradually. But anyway, so we grew up in my house drinking Coke all the time, all day long, all the time. And I cut that out. I was at it too. When I was in my 20s, I was up at about 10 or 12 a day. I cut all that out as well. But gotta love the fizzy water. It's doing the trick in the meantime. Okay, shall we? Right from the top. Okay, same speed. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, so there you go. So that was very hard work, everybody. I could see you all sweating there, and I hope that you were able to learn the Homeward Bound tonight with less of an eye on the music and more of an ear on the phrases. And we'll continue to do that, even if it takes more time. I don't mind. I would much rather do it that way. And, we have been doing it that way, but with everybody, when I send the music to people, it kind of speeds up the process. So I would have no problem with going slow and steady and getting these tunes by ear, the old-fashioned way. I think it's a great idea. How's everybody feeling now? Do you think you got enough of Homeward Bound that you could practice it? Oh, that's great. Right on. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. But one funny thing about Dad drinking 25 Cokes a day is that one time Coca-Cola called him to do a survey. And they said, how many Cokes or how much Coke do you consume in a week or something? And Dad did the math and told them. And the guy says, Mr. McDonald, this is a serious survey, and I don't appreciate you wasting my time with jokes. And he was like, no, really, I'm serious. And the guy did not believe him, hung up the phone. That was it. Anyway, okay, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thanks, Dan. Good night.